right, let's go to. This is Skype, right? All right, let's go to Skype and bring in Jordan Rabinowitz. He is the managing editor of a website called Lost Letterman. It's a site that is dedicated to college sports. Jordan, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing great. Jordan, we want to talk to you about something that happened at one of Woody's places of employment, ESPN. They removed Mark May, longtime guy who sat on the desk there on College Game Day. They're removing Mark May. They're putting him on some of the, we don't know what show exactly yet, but they're going to put him on some other show and replace him on one of the more high-profile college football programs. The Twitterverse, the Twitter universe is going crazy
Basketball.
over this one. And what's that?
What did you say?
I said football.
Okay.
It's football.
All right. Okay.
Didn't I?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, Jordan. This happens all the time. He corrects me all the time, even when I don't need correction.
Okay.
So, Jordan, what is essentially the majority here? How are the majority of people reacting to Mark May being moved out of his current position?
Elated might be the first word I use. People are happy. He's going to ABC, I believe, with John Saunders and Mac Brown. But yeah, people are happy. I think he was a big target in kind of this, I think just short of Skip Bayless, kind of the symbol for the worldwide leader, trolling, bloviating, not a lot of insight analyst. And I think people are relieved that he is off such an important show. I think college football final, you round out the day with that show, you're watching ESPN, your last Pac-12 game finishes, and you want some insight on the day behind you, and I think people are happy he's gone from that show.
Well, there's also a photo back there that Lou Holtz has been sort of displaced also, hasn't he?
He's gone.
Yeah, Lou
He's
Holtz,
retired.
Yeah, it was a mutual agreement with him and ESPN. In April, they announced that he was leaving. Yeah, I wrote yesterday that their TV marriage was the worst one since Kim Kardashian and Chris Humphries, which I had a little fun with. But I think the main point is they just really had bad chemistry, and some panels have it and some don't. You look at Fowler, Corso, and Herb Street, and I think Reese Davis, who's coming in for Chris Fowler on College Game Day, will be able to perpetuate their great chemistry. But, they were together for 2 decades, and it was just something. Some humans play better with others, and they did. And Mark May and Lou Holtz just, it wasn't good. There was just a lot of yelling and screaming, one guy trying to be louder than the other, and some animosity that felt real.
Jordan, I don't think there's anything wrong with yelling and screaming. There are ESPN programs that feature people that yell and scream. And you were mentioning Skip Bayless the other day. I want when I die that somebody puts on my tombstone that I worked with Jay Mariotti, Stephen A. Smith, and Skip Bayless, and you probably throw me into that mix. I would just say this about the SEC network is kind of now where network announcers go to die, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Matt Trigger is already there. I mean, I don't know. I think, listen, I don't mind yelling and passionate arguing as long as there's rationalization behind the arguments. And I think what a lot of people didn't like about Mark May in particular was that he did a lot of things, it seemed just to get a rise out of fan bases. And I think Ohio State was one in particular. Hours before the college football playoff championship game this year, Jay Crawford looks at him and he says, "You believe they belong now, don't you?" And he's just silent. And they're like, "You're giving the silent treatment." And it's like, they steamrolled Wisconsin in the Big Ten championship game. They beat Alabama fair and square in the Sugar Bowl. They deserve to be there. So I think people, you're allowed to make bold statements. And I mean, Woody, I've been watching you on Around the Horn for years, and you just have to back it up. I think people are, with Twitter, there's so many opinions out there, smart and not so smart. And I think people are more keen to weeding out baseless arguments from the ones with real insight.
Okay, give me your insight on this. I don't care nothing about Mark May. I'll be honest about that. But I do care who's going to end up being the starting quarterback for Ohio State this year.
Your guess is as good as mine. I really have no idea. I mean, Cardale Jones really showed something with those last 3 games last season. I mean, and he's a tank. He's 6'5", like 250, 260. He was throwing 75-yard passes at the spring game. And if you want to ride the hot hand, you go with him. But, I mean, J.T. Barrett put in 10 or so games of Heisman quality football, and Braxton Miller before him he was a Heisman candidate before he went down with that shoulder injury. So, I mean, I think it's a really good problem for Urban Meyer to have.
Jordan, I want to go back to Mark May for a second. There were so many people that complained about him, including a huge contingent of Ohio State fans. What do you think it was about his thing about Ohio State? What was his agenda there? Why did he dislike him so much, or seemingly anyway?
I don't really know. I mean, he's a Pitt guy, which may or may not have anything to do with it. I think Ohio State went through a lot of turmoil in the mid-2000s with Jim Tressel and Tattoo-gate and that whole thing, and they were an easy target, and he might have just gone with them and ran. I also think that because they're in the Big Ten and they're a Big Ten power, people are prone to say, well, if they were in the SEC, they lose four games this season, which is what he said before the 2013 season. They went 12-0 the year before. And he didn't put them in his top 10 in the preseason because of that argument. And so I don't know what his particular agenda is. Maybe he has gotten into it with Ohio State fans. I know he engages them on Twitter, and he likes to get a rise out of them. I can't tell you why he picks one fan base over another, but he has.
I was still thinking about the Ohio State. I think the most interesting question is going to be who is the Mark May. Mark May's gone. Okay, so Urban Meyer has the most embarrassment of riches I've ever seen in college football at quarterback, and I would not like being him because there's a case for all three of those guys. Forgive me, but I mean we're going back. I think he actually hoped that one of them was going to leave and go
Transfer,
to Alabama
yeah.
something or transfer. But I don't know how he's going to work that out because you can't play three quarterbacks. You can't play, and we know who the best one is, and he's only going to stay there for another year. But do you alienate the seniors and juniors that have played with the other two guys and seen what they've done? That is going to be an incredible story, and it's a shame Mark May won't be there to talk about it. I guess.
Jordan, yeah. What else can we find on Lost Letterman?
Well, we are actually in a bit of we're going to unveil a new redesign soon. I don't know how much we're supposed to talk about that, but we're a lot of like offbeat, off the field, fun, fluffy kind of stuff. But we also have a lot of insightful opinion pieces, and it's mostly college football and college basketball. We're branching out a little bit now into other college sports with the College Baseball World Series underway. We're doing a bunch of content with that, and with the Softball World Series, and we just did a few stuff on the Lacrosse Championship. So, it was college football and basketball for a long time, and now we're starting to branch out a little bit, and it's an exciting time for the website, I think.
And we know how to find the website. How about you personally? Got a Twitter handle?
My Twitter handle is Jordan Rab, JordanRab. And you can follow the website on Twitter, Lost Letterman, Lost Letterman with an E. It's plural, not like the recently retired talk show host. People confuse us a lot, but it's plural Letterman. And yeah, we're on Facebook, Twitter.
It sounds like your business plan would be perfect for me. Somebody who's kind of silly and humorous and
you need another job. Your seventh job. You need that, don't you? Jordan, appreciate your time, man. We'll be reading Lost Letterman.
Come back after you made the changes. When you make your big moves, come back and make the announcement on the show.
Definitely.
Are you going to bring Mark May on? Is he going to write for the site? Mark May?
He accepts contributions and freelancers, so.
Yeah. And Lou Holtz.
All right, Jordan, thanks, man. Jordan Rabinowitz, LostLetterman.com.